regarding the reasons for not allowing people to grow cannabis in their homes. Okay, you talked about normalization, but you also talked about limiting the illegal market, cracking down on it, and you said it would be very difficult to monitor what was legal cannabis and what wasn't if people were growing it in their homes. So could you please provide us with more detail on the reasons that prompted the Quebec government to ban growing cannabis in the home? Because you did talk about normalization. Yes, I understand that. But what about everything around the illegal market and the difficulty of monitoring growth of cannabis in people's homes? Well, how can I answer that? Common sense. Because I think that you should do this, perhaps conduct the same exercise. Are there a lot of homes? Yeah, there's a lot of homes. How can anyone monitor what is being done with the growth of cannabis in people's homes? It means that authorities, for example, police authorities, have to be able to monitor what people are doing with that product. So let's not even consider the quality of the product. Let's put that aside. Because people who grow this in their homes, there are going to be product quality standards. So forget that. We can't monitor that in people's homes. It's going to be a cottage industry, if you will. So if it is very difficult to monitor or track this kind of thing, then we might imagine that people... we can posit many things, but we can imagine that people might create a production network in their homes. There's federal legislation here that calls for permits, federal permits, and certification that we want to put in place in Quebec so that we can supervise this product. And all of a sudden there would be this exception. Well, people say, well, yeah, but it might not happen. Yes, but I'm saying who is confirming all that? Who is vetting all that? Because think about it. Growth in the home, by its very definition, calls for a massive number of police forces to monitor all of this. So perhaps that might happen one day. But what we are studying right now is a state where this is under the criminal code. So do we have to open the door very wide at the beginning and then close it later? Because what Quebec has done is we're keeping the door more closed, and then we're going to review it after 3 years. I think that you consider that as well when we're going from a regime of complete prohibition on cannabis, but then you've opened the door to legalization. You don't want to open the door too wide at the beginning, just with regard to growth of cannabis in people's homes. Or, when people homebrew their beer, for example, it hasn't been, hasn't been around for that long. When we were born, it didn't exist. So, people went to the equivalent of the LCBO, and we didn't really choose the product. We couldn't see all the products in those liquor stores. It was hidden by a window. So we are trying to address the concerns of the public. So we're trying to do it on a transitional and gradual basis. It might not take 50 years, but we do need a transitional period. Senator Gold.